much alike these days. I don't know what that means. It means we're Kardashians. Absolutely.
We're probably going to have some confrontation ahead of us.
See, episode number 8, Dave.
Yeah?
Episode number 8. That starts shooting September 20th.
Is that right?
Is the big showdown.
Ooh.
Over Zia. So, it's coming up, baby.
Wow, I'm looking forward to
Me
it.
too. I'm sharpening all my, my needles.
It's amazing. Andy and I have known each other as actors in the business. We never actually worked together before doing Deep Space Nine, but I've known about him, and I hope you know about me.
Absolutely.
And coming together on the show has really been a positive thing for me, because I've always admired and respected him as an actor. He's good. And I'm hoping that we get to do more together, not just on film, but do something in the theater together, which I know he has the same sort of values and commitment theater that I have, and it's a rare quality in Hollywood. So I just wanted to say that.
No, it's visual. It's absolutely visual. See, the thing about doing Deep Space Nine too is that, for the most part, you're working with actors who are serious actors.
For the most part.
Yeah. Before I decided to become an actor, I was thinking of becoming a politician, because I can sort of turn some curves, But no, I mean, more so than other shows, there are people like, Sid and Nana, Armin, Renee, Avery. I mean, these are people who are very serious about the craft and who are theater trained. And there's a real difference. Boy, I cannot tell you. See, there's a problem that's going on now with a lot of younger people that are coming into acting. And they grow up with television, and they look at television and they say, oh yeah, I can do that, like the song from Chorus Line. I can do that. So they flood, especially Los Angeles, Hollywood, and New York. And some of them are rather extraordinarily looking people, beautiful men and women, young men and women. And unfortunately, a lot of them get successful. And I don't mean unfortunately for them. I'm happy for them, but unfortunately for the craft as a whole. And what happens? It brings down the standards, so that you find yourself often acting with people who just don't know what they're doing, and think it's some kind of, they won the lottery, and now they're getting rich and famous. And it's a bizarre, believe me, for guys like Mark and myself, who've been kicking around this business for a long time, and getting some hard knocks on it as well, but constantly working at it and working at our craft and trying to maintain some integrity doing it. It's often a hard pill to swallow. And I want to repeat, it's not, and I'm sure I speak for Mark, it's not because I resent anybody's success at all. I'm talking about the level of the work, the quality of the work.
Right. I totally second everything you said. And it's so good to hear somebody else who feels and says the same thing that I feel. But we can say that because regardless of where we are in terms of our lives and our career, neither one of us would ever exchange anything with these people who have become decently successful and make a lot of money. It's not about money. It never has been about money. For me, I'm sure it hasn't been for him or any other serious actor. Shoot some questions up and we'll take them.
Yeah, why don't we try little chairs?
Yeah.
So we can make this so we don't look like we're... Did you say that? Why did I ask?
I sure would like to get a cold glass of water from that lady back there at one point. Cold glass of water would be great.
What was your first television job?
My very first television job was when I was in New York. It was in 1967, I think, when they had this series called NYPD. Obviously not NYPD Blue. And it was a series with Robert Hooks and Frank Congress. And an actor by the name of Freddie Forrest and I were hired to play Congress. Freddie Forrest, right. Who's an amazing actor. And I'll tell you, there's a very funny, embarrassing story. I'll tell you about that. I could not tell this story. I could not tell anybody this years ago. I was so embarrassed by this. I didn't know anything about film. I was right out of the theater, first time in a film situation. And so Robert Hooks, very, very sweet, good man, plays this cop, and he arrests Freddie Forrest and myself, and then we escape, and I don't know how it happens, but anyway, we take him hostage. And I'm supposed to hit him when, because I'm trying to get information out of him. And so we're doing the rehearsal, and I don't know what came over me. I hit the guy. The moment I did it, because I was, intense, and very nervous, because it was my first, film job, and I didn't mean to hit him, but I hit him. And he stopped, and he looked at me, and I thought he was going to disassemble me right there. And I just sort of held up, and okay. And he was very kind. He took a deep breath, and he said, "Professional actors, they hit each other."
Oh, my first time on television? Ribbon. Well, it was in New York, as a matter of fact. It was a soap opera. It was a soap opera called, and mind you, I was a young man, still wet behind the ears actor, just come from doing repertory theater but knowing nothing, again, about anything about film or television. And I didn't have an agent. I never had an agent in New York City, and I was never without work. Because I hustled to do that in New York. And I walked in off the street to a soap opera called Doctors. Anybody remember Doctors? There was a character called Maggie Powers on it. And they were looking for a guy who kidnapped and supposedly raped Maggie Powers. And I walked in off the street. Just by chance, I walked up to the producer's office and I knocked on the door and they said, "Who are you? Come in and what do you want?" And all that. And I said, "Well, I'm an actor. Looking for work." And I could tell he was immediately interested in me, the producer. And he said, "Well, look this scene over and then come back in 5 minutes and do it with my secretary." So I did. I went outside and I looked it over and there was a scene where this character, Frank Bailey, I think his name was, kidnaps Maggie Powers and is about to rape her. Well, I went in and we did the scene. The secretary took the scene and she's reading it with me. And by the time we were finished, I had her backed up into a corner and she just about wet her pants. I scared the hell out of her. And I got the job. Maybe you didn't scare me. And I got it. And it was the first time I was on television. The first time, when you do television, especially back then, a lot of it was live television. And they count off the last 10 seconds. You see people do that. 3, 2, and they never say 1. Well, they counted off the last 10 seconds and your first time on, and all cameras sitting right there. My shirt. I don't have any doubt that my shirt was moving. My heart was pounding so fast. I couldn't remember the first word. I couldn't remember Oh, scary. Scary. Yeah. God, great memories.
Could you comment about what it was like to be directed by you, even though the two very great scenes in your episode? Would you like to comment on what it was like to direct him or anybody else?
Oh, he's the most difficult actor I've ever worked with. He's temperamental, he's egotistical, he's vain, he's...
It'll never work again.
He'll never work with me again. No, Siddiq told me that. He came up to me and he said, listen, I'm giving you this one free. I'll do anything you want me to. But after this one, you're going to get what every other director gets. And I said, thanks, Sid. And so I took that and I went to every actor in the show and I said, listen, just give me this one free, will you? Just, I don't know what I'm doing, so just do what I tell you. And pretend you understand what I'm saying so that the producers think that Robinson's okay. Sid is like, the thing about Sid as an actor that is nobody understands. And of course, nobody understands is about, he has the facility, and I think I don't have it. I know I don't have it at all. He has that ability, that light comedic touch that is so rare. He can do things and underplay things just naturally underplay. He and Colm actually have a very similar quality in this, in which they can just play moments and play them very easily and touch them very lightly and move on. And it's a beautiful quality. It's a quality that people like Cary Grant have. That they just move. They just glide through things. They make it look easy. Sid makes it look easy. And so with an actor like that, you don't want to complicate things. You don't go and you don't give them, like your 3-page psychological discourse about the character's frame of mind at that particular existential moment. Because with an actor like that, that's like taking a great Mercedes and pouring sand into the carburetor or something. He's a gem. You just say red, or you say hairpin, or you just give some kind of like very brief little words that say, oh, that's where that scene is going, or whatever that moment is. And man, she just runs with it. He's a beauty. He is. Yes, I do. Yeah, just pipe up, or somebody should moderate. I don't know.
Right, we got one here.
Okay, good.
What is your favorite scene? And what is the favorite scene together?
We haven't had that many together where we could actually make contact. The one that comes to mind right off the top of my head is when he's razzing me about having a crush on Major Kira. That was kind of a nice scene, but there wasn't that much there to grab hold of, you know what I mean?
But that's a great moment, and it's where I found out what a prude Garrick is. You are a married man.
Yeah. But like he says, we'll have this whole thing coming up. It's interesting, our relationship, because there have been moments where we actually have worked together, but supposedly we have a history that is not a very positive one. Evidently, there's a lot of hatred there. So it'll be interesting. You probably know more about it than I do, where it's going to go.
Did you ever give any thought as to what that history might be, maybe a personal history with the characters? The history between Garrett and Mozart?
What's been touched on? I don't know.
Well,
It's a family thing.
well, you see, one of the things I do is, and I'm sure, I know a lot of other actors do this. I make up my own histories, because they give you so little background information, and I know that somehow Garrett was involved in the death of his father, if not directly, then indirectly through the Obsidian Order and so forth. And but Sherry had a question about what's the favorite scene that you have done?
Ever.
Yeah.
In this series. Boy, it would have to be